The guy was with Toyota for like 41 years, and so he was able to get it done in like 2.5, 3 hours, and it probably would have taken me like weeks. Life gets a lot more interesting when we pay attention, not just to ourselves, but to the people around us, the conversations, the moments, the lessons hidden inside ordinary life. This is Learn for 2.0. Hey there, welcome back to Learn for 2.0. I am Brandon DeVere, and thank you for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate that. Just getting back in here and had a kind of a long weekend. It was Eva's birthday last weekend, so we stayed downtown, or not downtown, but down on the Strip here in Las Vegas. Had a great time, spent a couple pool days. My son came down and hung out with us on Monday, and we had a good time and just experienced the Strip as some local tourists, which is I feel like, I don't know, maybe other cities are this way, and I just don't think about it because I don't live there. But like staycations in Vegas are kind of a cheat code, right? Like we we live 15 minutes from the Strip, and we can come down here or go down there and stay at a nice hotel for like relatively cheap. We had a room on the Strip, a nice hotel, like $160, and like we used to go for these stay in plays for my daughter's soccer tournaments that were like 225 to stay at this, like 225 a night, 250 a night at this like rundown. There was like they called it a stay and play, and you have to stay at these hotels with all the teams, so then they all get like the discounted rates, or it's part of the deal for the tournaments and stuff like that. And we're staying at like this 2-story outdoor motel style for like almost $100 more than it costs for us to stay at a beautiful resort on the Strip. So we get kind of a break at that, and it gives us an opportunity to really experience it. However, prices on the Strip are still much higher than anywhere else in the city. But just wanted to kind of give you a little update on that. Today it was just not a weird thing, but every day I'm trying to think about, trying to notice things and see what's going on, and what kind of lesson, not the lesson, I got to take that back, because that's what Learn for 2 was originally about, was like more of a teaching, where this, I just want to be like observant, like what lesson I can learn from all this, and subtle reminders. One of the things I thought about today was, I love the punk rock scene. I've talked about this before. I love the DIY spirit. It allows me to believe that like you just bootstrap. If you can just bootstrap, you can figure anything out. And I do have that mindset and that mentality, but it's both, a blessing and a curse, because I can get myself into some things that are like, oh yeah, you can do this, and then you get into it and it's like too overwhelmed, and then you gotta kind of backtrack and maybe have somebody come in and fix it, or it just turns out not exactly how you wanted to. But the challenge with that, having that like mindset, is that I can do anything. Like, for instance, I wrote a book. Like in my mind, it was done before it was done, if that makes sense. Like I already wrote it. It was already done. When I was training for a Ragnar, when I all I had to do is get my first step, and I'll bring up another story about that another time. But the first step out of the driveway, and in my mind, the workout was over. I already knew what I had to run for that day. So having that mindset, I do enjoy, but also at the same time, it gets really frustrating when I'm not good at something like right away. And I'm not good at a lot of things right away, and it's not even like, it's unfair for me to think that I should be that good at something that I never do. Like we went golfing for a friend of mine for his bachelor party last July, and I I it was last June or July, one of the two, last summer anyways. And we get out there, and I'm getting so frustrated because I hit the ball great one time, and the next time it's spraying all over the course. And my friend is like, "Dude, get out of your head. Get out of your." He's like, "What are you doing?" And this is a friend of mine that I've known my entire life. Our dads are great friends. They've known each other their entire lives essentially. And he's just like, he had no problem telling me like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you even? What's the problem?" And so I finally had to be like, you know what, you don't do this ever. You haven't golfed in probably at least 6 months, and maybe even in the last year. I golf at one point, like the height of my golfing, I was going like once a quarter. So I've never been out golfing, but I think that I should be good at it for some reason. And then you just kind of forget like how much work it takes and how much practice. Like, it's unfair to judge yourself to think that you should be good at something that you never do or have never done, just because you think that you should be. It's unrealistic too for me to think that I should be a good golfer. For like, not just because I feel that I'm fairly athletic. I like to play sports. I have my whole life, so I just think that, oh, I should be able to do this. Maybe not at like a grand level, but like when I hit a couple back-to-back shots, a couple worm burners, or just off to wherever, you get kind of frustrated. But then, kind of reminded me of, as like to get better at things, you need to work at them. You need to keep doing them. So it's unrealistic to think that you should just be good at something just because. And so one of the things, as we talked about a couple episodes ago, where I was talking about where my car broke down and my phone died within like minutes of each other, so I ended up having to walk home. Right. Well, anyways, I figured out what it was. The alternator went out. I have a Lexus RX 350. The alternator went out and I needed to get it fixed. And as I'm sitting there deciding, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to try and, but like I've worked on my cars before. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not very good at any of that stuff, but I'll be like, oh, I got YouTube. I can figure out a new project. Oh, now I'll try it. And so I was sitting there and trying to figure out, did watch a couple of YouTube videos on it, be like, okay, how difficult is this? All right. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to try this one. And so my neighbor is part of a truck club here in Vegas, and he has this mechanic that has been doing it for 41 years. Not sure if you've ever heard of Outliers, the book by Malcolm Gladwell, where he kind of popularized the phrase the 10,000 hour rule. Essentially, if you want to be an expert of something, you need to log in 10,000 hours. And so that's kind of the moral of this show today. This episode is that this guy came in and he's a Toyota mechanic was a Toyota mechanic for 41 years, and everything that I looked at, like I was doing, I was like, man, that might take me weeks to do what he was going to do. Could I have got it done? Possibly and probably. I probably would have been able to finish it. I'd have been super angry, upset, and irritated. It would have taken me way too long. And this guy comes over into my garage and he has it done in like 2.5 hours. I came out and I'm like, you're done already? Well, first of all, he did tell me that he was going to come at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And I'm like, what? How long is this going to? I thought it was going to be like an all day project. He's like, oh, no, I'll need 2 or 3 hours. And he was just dialed in, got it done, knew exactly what he needed to do to get done. And it's just because he's done it so many times. He's had so much time into it. He's had so many reps. He just had so much practice on, how many times, because all these YouTube videos are going to show you how to do it, but they don't show you how many times, oh, I got to cut because this happened. Like different things get in the way. Some of them do. But there's also always the thing that's like, oh, maybe my hand is too big to get in this spot and you're going to remove this spot, or, just like very tiny little nuances that maybe aren't explained without all those practices. For instance, so with that being said, like it reiterated to me that how much practice we need to do to get better at things, and even weird things like right now. And the reason that I thought about this today was because I was in the sauna. So the last 6 weeks or so, I've been talking about, getting my health back into a better spot than it had been. Again, kind of teasing it again, but I'm going to come back with it when I'm ready to discuss the health stuff. But part of that is that I've started going to the sauna. I try to go to the sauna, 3 to 5 times a week. Today I was in there. I try to go for anywhere, usually between 15 to 20 minutes, but it's usually right around 15. But I just thought about it today. Like it typically today was at 188. Usually it's right around 190. It just depends on when I get to it's at our clubhouse. So I go there and sometimes I have to turn it on and then I'll go, like today I turned it on and then went and had a workout and come back. Other times people have already turned it on, so it's warm already. So that's why there's a little bit of fluctuation, because it's the same sauna every time. But it's been about 6 weeks or so that I've been going pretty consistently. And when I first started, I was going like less than 10 minutes. It was just hot. Like I'd be moving around, sitting down, but then you get practice and you read up, you learn a little bit more about it, and weird things like you sweat better. Your body learns how to self-cool better. So now you're able to I sweat earlier now than I did before, just because I've been exposed and my body's learning how to do it. I know how to hydrate better than prior to and while I'm in the sauna, and all these things that just take practice. Like I can read all I want about it, but I eventually need to take that practice. And again, like even even moving into something like the show again. So I did the show for a year, 5 days a week for a year that was on audio only. So there's different things now. Kind of why I'm only doing like 2 to 3 days a week now is because there's way more like like post production stuff as far as me creating now video along with just the audio, and where am I putting it, and where can people find it, what are my descriptions, what posts am I writing about it, all these different things that I didn't do before, where before I would just write a post, put the audio clip in it, and then put the description, and I would be done. And so that was a super simple way to do it. But now, like I said, restarting, I started listening to a couple episodes last week to kind of go over some stuff. What have I talked about before? What were people enjoying hearing? Do I bring some of that stuff back? How do I feel about it now, 5 years later? And one of the things I noticed is that I was listening to episode, I think it was 173. And like right now, even as I'm trying to get better at what I'm talking about, I'm still doing the ums and you knows and the ahs and all that stuff. And those I don't edit out. I had a podcast friend of mine explain to me years ago. He said, "Do you edit your ums and ahs and you knows?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You don't anymore." And I found that like pretty profound. But he's like, "No, you will lean on that as a crutch. If you know that you're just going to edit, you're not going to get any better at how you're delivering and how you're going to just be like, And he want if you want to get rid of that, you're going to have to slowly work on it. And what I realize is that now I'm kind of back to that ahs and you knows, and hopefully I don't ruin it for you. And now you're going to go back and listen and be like, oh man, he does say that a lot. But I'm working on it. I'm working on the eye contact as well, things like that, as I get better at doing this. But I was listening to episode 173 and I was like, man, you're just going like, how am I going? I'm just going through it. And then I realized that I had 172 at bats before that. That was my 173rd at bat, doing that and having that and getting back in the groove and being on time and with purpose and sharing exactly what I knew I was going to be sharing. And so I've tweaked a little bit how I'm preparing for each of these episodes, because it did get to a point where I could just go out and have something the day I go, boom, that's what I'm talking about today. That's what I'm talking about today. No problem. And I was able to go through without all the like trying to find like the words and dropping all these filler words. But it just reminded me of that, this is, we need practice, we need time, and we need reps. We need all of these. We need these at bats, like I talk about, is as we get to see these, we can learn. I have a friend of mine that was telling me a story about a professor. Like somebody can teach you how to fly, like a bird, right? It sounds weird, but they can teach you how to fly like a bird, like the technical reasons that like a bird can fly. But like we could never fly in that way with our current makeup. Obviously we need our own stuff, but in that same realm of the world, like we can tell people how to do everything. And when I say at bats, I use that just because people typically understand like what that means, and I come from the sports world, so that's what I talk about. But basically chances and opportunities to continue to do it. I can tell you all day long how to start a podcast or start video and do all that stuff, but not until you do it will you realize like how, like the intricacies. Oh man, how many episodes I have where I had like the mic actually switched from the mic that I was using to my phone mic or the computer mic, and it is, I sound super far away instead of up close and like a warmer tone. And I go, oh man, well that sucks. I wish I wouldn't have done that. But that's something that you get from the experience and the rep. So just wanted to share that with you, what I had learned today, myself, and just a reminder. And I've heard it 100 times, and I'll do this a lot. You'll hear me talk about things that I'll bring up, be like, oh yeah, well I was doing that like 7 years ago, and then I just stopped and forgot about it, and then it came back. But those are just kind of the things that I wanted to reiterate, that as we're looking to get into, maybe you're looking to get into a new industry or something like that, and you're having trouble like breaking through, or you're trying to create a new skill or learn a new skill, and it's struggling like right out of the gate. Remember, some of these people that are really good at it have been doing it for a long time, and they've made all those mistakes before. So that's kind of what I'm leaning into right now, is that continue to just, one foot in front of the other, and understand that it's going to take time and that I can't be good at everything the first time I try it. So I'll leave you with that, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great one.